Hello everyone. Today we are going to solve the eighth question of SQL 50 series from Leetcode, and the title is Customer who visited but did not make any transactions. Okay, so here we are having two tables, visits and transactions. Visits table consists of visit ID and the customer ID, and visit ID is the column with unique value for this table. Okay, and in the transaction tables we are having transaction ID, visit ID, and the amount for which he has done the transactions, right? So, and the transaction ID here is a unique column. Okay, and this table contains information about the transaction made during the visit ID. So, let's move on to the question. So, write a solution to find the IDs of the users who visited without making any transactions, and the number of times they made these types of visits. So it's like a customer visits to a mall, but never had any transactions, or in that visit, the person has never done any transaction. So that kind of results it wants. It wants the customer and how many times. I mean, it wants that customer ID and how many times that customer has done that kind of scenario. Okay, and written the result table sorted in any order. Okay, so it doesn't matter any sorting and all, but it doesn't require actually. Okay, so here if you see here, so here we have visit ID and the customer ID. So suppose for this 96, right? The customer ID 96, visit ID is 6. So that person has never done any transaction. You see in the visit ID inside this transaction table, we don't have this visit ID 6 here, right? So it means that that person has never done any transactions, correct? So if you see this 96, it is 1. 30 it is 1, 54 it is 2. So for the 54, if you see, the visit ID is 7 and the 8. And here, if you see, there is no record for 7 and 8. So it means that person had visited but haven't done any transactions. Okay. So let me first show you the data. Select star from visits underscore 8 since it's a 8th question. So this record, and then select star from transactions 8. This is the transaction record. Okay, so there are two approaches. At least for me, I know two approaches. There might be more than that as well. Okay. So here I'll just solve it with two approaches. One is using subquery, and the another one is using joins, left join. Okay, so let's solve it from the subquery first. Okay, so what it is saying is select star from visit 8. What it wants that in the visit table you have the visit ID, but in transaction table that visit ID is not present. Visit ID transactions underscore 8. Okay, so this is the query, and let me remove this and then let me run it. So you see here visit ID 4, 6, 7, and 8, and corresponding to that customer ID is 30, 96, 54, 54, right? But what it want is it want the count and the customer ID. So how you can do it? The count is an aggregated function. Customer ID, you can have the count, right? Like this. And once you have any count or aggregated function, you need to use group by customer ID. We can run it. Yeah, so now you see customer ID and its count, right? And here the output column. So in Leetcode, once we'll run this query, right, it will fail because it wants this count as this column. So we can give it the alias and run it. Now you see that customer ID count no transaction is this. Okay, so this is the one solution using uh, using subquery. Okay, now let me do the same using joins. Okay, so the in case of joins, how you can do it, you need to do, so suppose if you find any scenarios like that, right, where in one table there might be the record and into the other table there might be some records might not present there, right? So and you want those records which are not present, so in this case you can use outer join. So I'll just repeat it one more time. In which scenario you can use this? It's like suppose in we are having two tables. In one of the tables there are some records which is present, but into the other table some of the records are not present. Okay, so those records you want to find out the count for those record which is not present. Okay, so in that case you can use the outer joins. Either you can use left join or you can use right join. So left join and right join is nothing. Okay, it's just the positioning of the tables for which you want all the records, right? If you want all the records from the left side, then you can use the left join. But if you want all the records from the right side, you can use the right join. Or you can just swap the tables itself, the positioning of. If you want the left table as a record, then put that table into the left for which you want all the records. Okay, so let me show you with the joins. So select star from visits underscore 8v left join transaction set t on. So unique column and common column is visit id. Visit id is equal to t dot visit id. Okay, so let me run this and then I'll show you that why I'm saying this. Okay, so now you have record from both the tables, right? From visit tables, you have all the records, and from transaction tables, you have only those records which were matching. But wherever the records were not matching, there you are having only visit ID. Okay, I mean, from that, you have the nulls. So if you see here, right, in this row, so here visit ID is 4, customer ID is 30, but corresponding to that, there was no transactions has been done, right? And the similar with these three, this visit id 6 7 and 8, so corresponding to that also there is no transaction has been done. Now the question is it wants only those records for which there is no transaction, correct? So how you can just filter it out, this you can just put where and t dot transaction uh, transaction id is null, right? So if you see, this is having null, this is having null, sorry, not these, but the last three records are having null, and this one is having null, this one. So it will come all these records. Now let me run this query. See here. So for this, you are having this many of records. Now what it wants is it wants the customer. So v dot customer ID, comma, it wants the count, that how many times this things has been done, and then you can just do a group by of on customer ID. Okay, so you have two solutions here. Please do let me know if you have any other solution into the comment section of it. Okay, and if you have any feedback, any query, please do let me know into the comment. Okay, I think that's it for this video. Thank you.